60 frames per second front-facing video on the Pixel 8 Pro. You can see very contrasty kind of look on my face, which I really don't like on the Pixel devices. Not sure. I'm really running on the latest software here, having all the latest and greatest installed, the latest Google camera or Pixel camera installed here. I also have the latest software update installed on the Pixel 8 Pro. Still, we have like a very contratrasty kind of look. Now I'm going into the sun. How is it handling this? Also, the screen dims for some reason very quick, so I cannot see anything on the screen. It should supposed to be have 2600 nits, but it's like very dim right now. How's it handling HDR? Well, I think it's doing a fine job, just very similar to the one that I saw on the Huawei. By the way, seeing is very hard because it's so dimmed down. I'm not sure why it's doing this. It might be a bug there, so Google really has to improve the software there a lot, because I have this issue. I'm not sure why it's like dimming down so quickly. It's not running hot or anything, I think. What do you think about the 4K 60 frames per second? Of course, I can show you something like, for example, my Nova 10 Pro that I filmed earlier with here. Focusing is working. We have autofocusing on the front-facing camera, which is quite nice. And yeah, what do you think about the stabilization, colors, and so on here on the Pixel 8 Pro? Now recording with the Mate 60 Pro, 4K 60 frames per second on the front-facing camera, which is quite nice that we have this ability here, and we can zoom in to 1x, but I can also go to the ultra-wide angle, which looks like this. What do you think about this one here on the Mate 60 Pro? 0.8x is the one that I'm most comfortable with, because for vlogging this is really great. Sadly, we don't have any autofocus. Sun is coming out right now. My face is a little bit red. I think it is handling it not so well. What do you think about this one here? What about sun in the background? HDR is also a little bit tricky here in this situation. So what do you think about the Mate 60 Pro's front-facing video? Last video that I recorded, the front-facing video without the external microphone on the Pixel 8 Pro. This is why it sounded maybe worse than before, because every time you have to go into the settings, and when you plug in a wireless microphone or a wireless microphone, and you have to choose the wired microphone or wireless external microphone, because it is defaulting to the internal microphone for some reason, which I really don't know why. So what do you think about the color stabilization and so on? Let's go into the sun a little bit here. This is maybe a bit unfair. Let's have my face in the sun again. Is it overexposing? What do you think about this one here in terms of stabilization, colors, and so on? So I almost don't see anything, so I'm going into the shadows just like in a second. So this is the 4K 60 frames per second recording with the main camera sensor. Let's switch to the ultra wide angle. I just have a button there as well, and I can go to the ultra wide angle. What do you think about the animations and so on? About this one here, stabilization, colors, HDR, and so on. And of course, my favorite bridge there. I think the ship is already past there, but we will check it out. The zoom level there as well, because we have like here 2x zoom, which is the crop on the main camera sensor, and then we have 5x, which will switch there to the 5x zoom lens. It's a bit slow in switching. I think Huawei makes it a little bit better, at least on screen it looks a bit better. And then we can go up to the 10x. This is now 10x. What do you think? Which one performs better here, the Huawei or the Pixel 8 Pro? Now using the main camera on the Huawei Mate 60 Pro, I almost don't see anything because the sun is like shining directly into my face. Maybe I go a little bit into the shadows. There we go, much nicer. What do you think about this one here? Color stabilization and so on. With this harsh sunlight on my face, is it working nicely or not? Using external microphone here, 4K 60 recording, I also have the possibility to go and switch to the ultra wide angle. So let's do this. This is the ultra wide angle here on the Mate 60 Pro. What do you think about this? Color stabilization and so on. And of course we have the possibility to zoom in on something. I will zoom to my favorite bridge that I have here as a zoom possibility. There are also ship passing by, but probably I will not catch this one with the Pixel 8. Anyway, 4x zoom here. 3.5x zoom, cropped in a little bit. This is typical for Huawei. And then we can go to 10x zoom. So this is how 10x zoom looks like on the Huawei Mate 60 Pro. Let's compare them side by side. Front-facing video first. We can see much more contrasted look on the Pixel 8 Pro, much more yellowish and greenish kind of look on the Mate 60 Pro, much more punchier colors, not so much black, not so much contrast, which I like better on my face, but the colors are a little bit weird. And it gets a bit weirder when I go into the sun. As you can see here, my face is completely red, where the Pixel handles it completely different, where it's like, giving me even more shadows there on the Pixel 8 Pro and having everything dark here in the background, which I also don't like so much. Which one do you prefer here? I think also in this HDR kind of situation that the Mate 60 Pro has a bit of better kind of colors and rendition. The Pixel 8 Pro has issues with autofocus there. which is, I think, an issue there. Front-facing camera, I would have it basically equal. I don't like the look on the Pixel 8 Pro at all, with this too much shadows, but the Mate 60 Pro sometimes make me look like a clown, and the Pixel 8 Pro sometimes make me look like I'm dead or something like this. Now let's check out the main cameras, and here we have almost an opposite kind of thing. We have much more punchier colors on the Pixel 8 Pro together with the sharper contrast there, which leads to a little bit of like, yeah, too saturated look, where the Mate 60 Pro has a better look there. Not only my face looks a bit better, but also the background looks a bit better, even though I think the blue is a bit too saturated there, and here the blacks as well. Overall, I like the Mate 60 Pro a little bit better over the too much contrasty look on the Pixel 8 Pro that just doesn't suit the day that I was experiencing there. And when we take a look at the ultra wide angle, we can see a very similar kind of thing with the, let me go to the shadows a little bit more. Yeah, with the more darker contrasty look on the Pixel 8 Pro and the more lifted up shadows on the Mate 60 Pro, that looks a little bit more natural, to be completely honest, but just like looks smartphone-y, goofy-ish on the Pixel 8 Pro for some reason. And when we go into the zoom lens, however, then it becomes very interesting, because I think at this zoom level here, 3.5 times zoom, what we have now on both, the Mate 60 Pro is winning against the Pixel 8 Pro. First of all, the Pixel 8 Pro's too much contrast is adding to like a more gloomy kind of day, even though it was a sunny day. You can see nothing of the sun basically here, maybe here on the side of the boat, but here everything is so dark and gloomy and bluish somehow, where here on the Mate 60 Pro everything's a bit more greenish, yellowish, lifted up shadows, so you have like a little bit more like a glimpse of the sun here, in my opinion. But this is maybe a matter of taste, which one you prefer here in this case, but it's just too dark, the overall exposure on the Pixel 8 Pro in my opinion. And let's check out the maximum zoom. When I zoom in, there we go, and let's compare it with the Mate 60 Pros, and here I think the 5x zoom on the Pixel 8 Pro definitely shows with a little bit more details. Yes, it is pixelated a little bit, but compare this with the Mate 60 Pros, which is very, very soft here. Yes, the optical zoom on the Pixel 8 Pro is legit and wins when you zoom in 5 times or more. So what do you think about both in terms of videos?